Political Leader of the United National Congress and Leader of the Opposition, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa, my colleagues on this platform here tonight, members of our great party at all levels, Trinidad and Tobago, a pleasant good night to each and every one of you, and wherever you are globally following us on your respective social media platforms. Tomorrow we will celebrate International Women's Day, and as a nation, our hearts are heavy. Women who have lost their husbands, their fathers, their sons, their grandsons, brothers and nephews in the most ghastly and harrowing national tragedy in which 4 of our nation's dedicated sons perished on the 25th of February 2022. They have nothing to celebrate, and that day will go down as one of our darkest days in the history of our country. And as a party, we stand in solidarity with the women fighting the scourge of crime, violence against women, poverty, sexual harassment in the workplace, and inequality. And tonight, as a party, under Kamala Prasad Bisesa, it is incumbent upon the UNC to remind the citizens of our country of the cold, the callous, the inhumane, and the insensitive treatment of Paria Fuel Trading Company Limited that was meted out to the families of these deceased divers and the lone survivor, Christopher Boudram. My brothers and sisters of Trinidad and Tobago, you must never forget that this board is a PNM appointed board of Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley and his cabinet. Newman George is the golfing buddy, the drinking partner and liming partner of Prime Minister Keith Rowley. Eustace Narcis is a former PNM mayor of the borough of Arima, and I could go on and on. And I wish to reiterate and reinforce that up till today, there has been no humanity, there has been no compassion, and no sense of reaching out to those deceased divers in terms of their families and the lone survivor. My colleagues at a national level, MP David Lee and even Alderman Angie Benjamin reminded you here tonight, not even a tent, not even a bottle of water, not even a pack of Crick's biscuit, and not even toilet facilities and a courtesy vehicle to move grieving and traumatized families back and forth to the National Forensic Center. And I want to ask the office holders, the Prime Minister, the Minister of Energy, Newman George and his board, Mushtaq Mohammed, the CEO, Colin Piper, and if any who has been contracted out to deal with human resource issues at Paria, have they reached out to the lone survivor, Christopher Boudram? I am asking questions. Have they reached out to do an analysis of the immediate needs of the families, the surviving relatives and dependents in terms of their short-term, medium-term, and long-term needs? I want to put it to them that no one from this counseling firm they call PEA, PSEL consultancy firm, they have not reached out to anybody. As I speak to you here tonight, and Minister Young and Newman George and Mushtaq Mohammed and so on, they must tell me that I am not speaking the truth. And tonight, we in the UNC, under Kamala Prasad Bisesa, we reiterate that we reject the 5-man committee that has been appointed. We reject it because it has lacked any sense, as I said, this committee, because previous committees appointed by this government of Dr. They have failed to instill any sense of confidence in the citizens of this country. We have no trust in them, whether it was the Christian Mute Committee, whether it was the committee of retired diplomat Christopher Thomas, when Trinidad and Tobago voted against Dominica at the OAS, when that country was reeling under the hurricane, when the committee was appointed to investigate allegations into sexual harassment of a cabinet minister. We wanted to know, taxpayers up till today, they do not know how $150,000 of taxpayers' money was used to settle a sexual harassment allegation against a sitting government minister at the time. Hush money, and Rowley intervened. He claimed that the committee report could not go forward because the committee did not investigate or meet with the cabinet minister. The Simangal report into the COVID-19 in terms of the treatment of patients, and after 3,500 persons died, what has happened to the 16 recommendations that was made by this committee? And that is why we say tonight, you would have heard from my colleague, the Member of Parliament for Princestown, Barry Padarat, that we in the UNC, we reject the three-man committee appointed to investigate the national or nationwide blackout. And Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the UNC has told you, we will stand and we will not support any committee that has Eugene Tia serving on it, because Minister Young, he failed to tell Trinidad and Tobago that he, alongside Michael Kwamina, we must never forget who Michael Kwamina is. He is currently the chairman of the board of Trinidad Petroleum Holding Limited, the parent company to Paria Fuel Trading Company, and Michael Kwamina is the personal attorney to the Prime Minister. And therefore, by Minister Young's action of appointing a former client, we in the UNC deem it to be extremely unethical, and yet another glaring example of the corrupt and the surreptitious behavior of this government. And therefore, we are saying to the government, have they considered the appointment, or will they consider that if British Petroleum and Shell have representatives on these committees, will they consider having peer reviewers to review what is being done? Because, for example, when BP and Shell is going to do a major job and shutdown, they have senior team of foreign experienced professional and engineers and health and safety personnel being brought into the country to review what is being done. Is the government prepared to have a representative of the Caribbean Congress of Labor sit on this committee? Is the government prepared to have a representative of the International Labor Organization, a well-respected organization in the sphere of workers' activities and health and safety in this country? My brothers and sisters, is the government prepared to have insurers and underwriters as part of this investigative committee, and insurers and underwriters of international repute? Because Paria is supposed to have insurance to deal with accidents like this one, and surely they would have alerted their insurers. And that is why we have to ask the questions, my brothers and sisters, because this investigation must reveal who gave the instructions to the Coast Guard to point their weapons at the team of MLMCS Limited in terms of who they mobilized and the volunteer divers who were willing to go and be part of a rescue mission after having saved Christopher Budram, who gave the order to seal the pipeline, and at what time was this order given, my brothers and sisters? We did not arrive by this accident, at this stage in terms of this accident in relation to just it happened by the waving of a magic wand. The Prime Minister and his government must take the ultimate responsibility, because the Prime Minister and his cabinet have been on a mission to lick up trade unions, to eliminate recognized majority unions in the workplace. They want to get rid of health and safety committees and health and safety protocols in the workplace. This accident, the deaths of these 4 workers, are a direct fallout of the closure of Petrotrin. And I want to ask the Minister of Energy, is he aware? The Minister of Labor, is he aware? The OSH agency, are they aware? Newman George and Mushtaq Mohammed, are you aware that an accident occurred in November of 2021 on the jetty in this said area whilst the pipeline was being drained? Deceased Rishi Nagesa, are you aware, and will you tell us if he was injured in that accident? The survivor, Christopher Budram, can you tell us he was involved in that accident in November of 2021? And who gave the instructions at Paria to cover up this accident in 2021? So I am saying to you that they want us, of citizens, to learn of profit margins of hundreds of millions of dollars, appointing a board to cut corners on health and safety issues and give you the impression that all is well. Who instructed the management to turn a blind eye to the accident also? So there seems to be an all-out cover-up, incompetence, lack of leadership at Paria, and Stuart Young and the Minister of Labor must be held culpable also, because the OSH agency have failed all the workers at Paria, and that is why I am saying that Rowley is ultimately responsible as the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. This is state-sanctioned murder. This is state-sanctioned murder, and the Prime Minister must be held culpable in this matter, my brothers and sisters. We in Trinidad and Tobago must never forget, this is a government that has abused citizens. They have abused the workers of this country, the ordinary people. They do not care about anybody. 2 years ago, they imposed a state-sanctioned ban on open-air cremations. And the poor families, impoverished families, had to fork out $20,000, $25,000, $30,000, $35,000, $40,000 to look after their loved ones. They lifted the ban after public pressure, after the voices of the leader of the opposition and groups such as the Sanatan Dharma Mahasabha. Have we been told since they lifted the ban, anybody get COVID since they're doing open-air cremations? In this country, they abuse you. They tell you that you're paying your bills for a reliable water supply, and you cannot get a reliable water supply, but you have to pay WASA contractors and WASA trucks transporting water $800, $500, $600. And that is why I am saying that this is a government that is attacking people on all fronts. And this is why we must never forget that these 4 divers, it was state-sanctioned murder, and the ordinary people of this country are being abused, and they are being attacked on every front because this government is sanctioning state extortion, my brothers and sisters. And as I leave you here tonight, this government in recent times deceived you. You cannot trust them. The Prime Minister told you in the Parliament, told us in the Parliament that the government is no longer pursuing what he called mandatory vaccination in the public service. That man lied from day one. He told the country that there was mandatory vaccination for members of the public service. Workers were tricked. They were deceived. They were traumatized. They were confused. They were pained. And they took the vaccine out of fear, because if they lost their jobs, they would have failed on their mortgages. They would have failed on their children's education and the overall stability of their families. So tonight, as we continue this march, as we continue this glorious struggle for answers, not only on behalf of these 4 divers and the lone survivor, but on behalf of the ordinary citizens of Trinidad and Tobago under Kamla Persad-Bissessar, I tell you, stand tall with us. Our party under her leadership has always been on the side of the people, on the side for peace, bread, and justice. Long live her leadership. Long live our great party. I thank you.